Good morning, everyone. Today we will discuss about virtual function. It is also part of polymorphism. In our previous video, we have already discussed about polymorphism, done its types, and in our today's video, we are going to discuss about what is runtime polymorphism, how runtime polymorphism is achieved, then first we are going to study about polymorphism. So polymorphism, as you all know, that it is basically a combination of two words, poly and morph, where polymorphism means basically one name and many form. There will be multiple functions. All the functions will have the same name, but they will perform different tasks. So that is basically polymorphism. This we have discussed in our previous videos also. Now polymorphism is achieved in two types through like they are of two types, compile time or runtime. So compile time we have already studied in our previous videos, and we can achieve compile time polymorphism either through function overloading or through operator overloading. And today we are going to study about runtime polymorphism. So runtime polymorphism, as the name suggests, that runtime polymorphism is achieved when the object's method is invoked at the runtime instead of compile time. Like we have studied in compile time polymorphism that in that the compiler was able to decide which function it has to execute at the compile time. But in runtime polymorphism, which function we have to run or we have to execute is decided at runtime. So choosing function during execution time or runtime is dynamic binding. And basically dynamic binding means that linking of a procedure call to the code to be executed. Whichever procedure we have to execute, it is decided at the runtime. And hence runtime polymorphism is also known as late or dynamic binding, since the selection of the appropriate function is done at the runtime. And runtime polymorphism is implemented by using virtual functions. To implement runtime polymorphism, we have to use virtual functions. So you can see from the diagram that for runtime polymorphism, we have to use virtual function to implement runtime polymorphism. Now, what is virtual function? So, as the name suggests, that virtual actually means that which exists in effect, but it is not in reality. So, virtual means existing in effect, but not in reality. So, similarly, is virtual function. It is a function which is declared in the base class by using the keyword virtual, and this particular function will be redefined in the derived class. So it is declared as virtual in the base class and redefined in derived class. And the redefinition of the function which we have done in the derived class will override the definition of the function in the base class. Whatever things we have written in the base class, those things will be overridden by the definition of the function in the derived class. So here, when both the classes will use the same name for the function, so how the compiler will able to determine that which function it has to use at runtime. So this is basically done on the basis of the type of object which is pointed by the pointer of the base class. In function overloading, we have studied that there were more than one functions which share the same name, but either their type of argument was different or their number of argument was different, and because of this difference only compiler was able to identify that which function it has to execute at the compile time itself. But in runtime polymorphism, both the functions will have the same name, same number argument, and then same type of argument. Then it will be a totally mess for compiler that which function it has to execute, it has to decide at the runtime. Now for this decision only, we are going to use a base class pointer, and base class pointer helps us to identify that which function we have to execute at runtime. So in this way, we are going to use virtual functions. This is the syntax for virtual function. You can see first we have to use the keyword virtual, then we have to specify the return type of the function, then we'll specify the name of the function, and finally the arguments. Now we are going to quickly do the program for virtual functions. So I'm writing the program, then we'll discuss it. Since we have to use two classes here, so first I'm using class base, and in this, in protected int I, one variable we have used. Then in public we are going to use one function, and we'll declare this function with the help of virtual. I'm going to explain it later. Then again one more function. In this function we are just displaying the value cout I, the value of site is I. And then cout, we are calculating the area of a square here. So area of square is, and then we have to call the function area, which we are going to declare next. This function is closed. Now we are declaring function area, int area. In this we have used one temporary variable temp, and then we are just writing the formula to calculate area of a square, which is basically side square. Value of side we have input in the variable I, and then we'll just return the value of temp. So this class is finished. Now we have to create one more class which we'll use derived. Initial class we have used base. Now the name of the new class is derived, and we'll publicly inherit the base class also. So this is a kind of, we can say, single inheritance. Now again in protected we are going to declare one variable, that is j here. Then again in public we have to use two function, and this time we are not going to use virtual keyword because we have already used in the base class. Cout, enter the value of I and j. This is simply a message. In I and j. This was the simple get function. Now we have to create one more function named as show. You can see that the name of both the functions are same as that of the base class. So first here we'll just simply write the message, the values of length and breadth are I and j, I, j, then we have used handle, and then again we have to calculate the area of rectangle here. Area of rectangle, is, then again we have to use function area, and this function is also closed. Then we have to create one function int area for area of rectangle. Then again we have declared one variable int temp, and in this we are going to calculate area of rectangle by multiplying the values I and j, and then again we are going to return it. So return temp. So this function is also closed and our class is also finished. Now we have to create the main function. So we are going to create void main. Now we have to create object of both the classes. So one class was base, object of base class say O1, and again we have to create object of derived class as well, say O2. Then we also have to create pointer for base class. So we have to first write the name base, and then we have to use one pointer variable. Now we are going to pass object into these pointer variables. So address it will be O1. Yes, O1. Then with the help of this pointer variable, we are going to call the functions. Here we are using alias operator instead of dot. So one function was get and the other function is show. So I have called both the functions. Now again we have to pass the value of another object, that means O2. Then again we are going to call the functions of derived class with the help of ptr, which is a base class pointer, and we are going to call the show function also. Now our program is completed. I'm just going to quickly explain you the program first. So as I told you, in virtual functions, whatever functions we have written in the base class, their definition is overridden in the derived class. So for virtual function, we have to use the keyword virtual. Here we have used the keyword virtual and we have just simply asked the user to input the value of I. Then we have again used one function show, in which we have just displayed the value, and then we have calculated the area of a square, and for area of a square we have used this function, which is simply side square. Then again in the derived class we have calculated the area of rectangle. So for this we have just asked the user to input we have asked the user to input two values I and j, where value of I in, well, integer I we haven't declared because we have publicly inherited the base class. Then again we have calculated the area of rectangle. Now you can see from the main program that we have to create object of both the classes. Then of the base class we have to create a pointer variable of the base class. So for base, name of the base class was base, and we have declared one pointer variable ptr. And then with in ptr first we have passed the object 1. So object 1 o1 was of base class. So when we have passed object 1 through the address operator to the ptr, so now ptr will respond to the functions of the base class. When ptr dot get we have done, so since as if now ptr contains the address of the object 1, so it will respond to base class. And after that we have again changed the value of ptr. Now ptr is responding to, or it is just like initializing, we have given the value of o2 with the address operator to ptr. So now ptr will respond to the functions of the derived class. Now we are quickly going to run this program. You can see, enter the value of I. This was the base class function. So I have written like 4. So it said the value of the side is 4 and the area of a square is 25, because we have done I into I. Now it has asked me to enter the value of I and j, so 4 and then 5. Now it's saying the value of the length and breadth are 45 and area of rectangle is 20. So in first, we have just passed the first object of the base class to the pointer variable. So because of this, ptr was denoting the base class. Then we have passed the object of the derived class to the pointer variable. So it was now denoting the derived class. Now we'll quickly see one program for pure virtual functions. And basically virtual functions where we declare its definition with 0, they are known as basically pure virtual functions. So basically what happens, a pure virtual function is a function which is declared in base class and it has no definition relative to the base class. That means we're not going to give any kind of definition of that virtual function in the base class. So the pure virtual function is one function which is without body and it is equal to zero in its declaration. We have to just simply put zero. And virtual function which are defined inside the base class serves as a framework for future design, and we are not going to give any definition of this particular function in the base class. Its definition will be given in a derived class. So when a virtual function is made pure, any derived class must provide its own definition. Then derived class has to give its definition. Now if virtual function is not redefined by the derived class, then the version defined in the base class will be executed. If for an example we have not given any kind of definition of that particular virtual function in the derived class also, then whatever is the definition in the base class, that definition will be executed. And since we know that we have already declared as zero, so zero will be printed. So the syntax for pure virtual function is simply we have to put zero in front of the definition of the virtual function. Now we are simply going to do a program for virtual pure virtual function. So again we have to create one class. First we have to write the header files. Hash include stream dot h, then hash include new dot h, then in the base class, in the private, we are declaring just one variable nm. Simply I'm writing, say, one variable x, and then in the public we are just defining virtual function virtual void get, and this function, since we are creating this function as pure virtual function, we'll simply assign 0 to it. And one more function I will just make virtual void, say, show, and again this is also pure virtual function, so we are again assigning its value to 0. And now we have not given any kind of definition in the base class. Now we are going to make function class derived, and we are going to publicly inherit the base class in the derived class. Now in the derived class we are going to just declare one variable character nm for, and say, 20, and in public we are declaring one function void get, sorry, and in this we have just asked the user to enter name, cout, enter name, and then scene nm. This function is closed. Now we are again making one more function void show, and in this function we are simply displaying the value cout, the name is nm, now this class is also finished. Now we have to create the main part, void main, and in this again we have to create pointer of the base class. So pointer is ptr, which I am creating. Now in this case we will not going to declare object of the base class because we haven't given any kind of definition of this. So we have just created one object of derived class named as obj, and then again we have to just do the same thing. We have to pass object to the reference or to the pointer variable. So obj, and now again we are going to call both the functions, that means get and the show function. See, now we'll quickly review this program. Here in this program, as I told you, pure virtual functions are the functions in which we give the definition of its of virtual function 0. So pure virtual function is a function which is declared in the base class, but it has no definition relative to the base class. And the pure virtual function is a function which is one without a body. It does not have its any like any statements are there. It does not have any body, and we just simply initialize, or its declaration is initialized with 0. So we are, if we put 0 in front of any virtual function, that means this function now becomes a pure virtual function. So this particular function will not have any definition in the base class, only we have the definition in the derived class. So in the derived class, we have simply asked the user to enter his name, and then it is printed. And since we haven't like used any body or in the base class, so we haven't declared any object of the base class. We have simply declared object of the derived class. And then again, with the help of the pointer variable, because a class that contains a virtual function have to be like of that particular class, we have to create one pointer variable. So here we have declared virtual function in the base class, so pointer variable is also of the base class. So now with the help of this pointer variable, we have called both the function get and show. Now we are going to quickly run this program and see. It is asking me enter your name, and say I write ITM Gwalior. So it has printed its name. Again, we can run this program. ITM Gwalior. So it will print ITM Gwalior. So in this way, virtual function and pure virtual functions are implemented.